all seem to agree with Dick's plan completely. Even your old friend Monty the Dice.
Monty agreed?
I think they understand it's a way out of the rackets without making a cut in their incomes. And Duke explained to them that we would finance them as legit players in Atlantic City or in any other business until their income equals what it does now. And then when he showed them that the cost for things like protection would fall, well, they thought it was in their best interest.
Even Monty the Dice. It's sure not like the old days.
Well, I think that's the point, Victor. It's not the old days anymore.
Turning bookies legit is one thing, Duke. They just keep on gambling. They can keep feeling that rush of excitement from being on the edge. Some of the others, though, I just can't picture them being real happy about running a legitimate laundry service, for instance. You really think you can convince everyone?
Not everyone, no, but well, as a whole, we can get the family out of crime.
What about the ones who are left?
There's not much we can do, Victor, about people who enjoy violence.
So, what happens to them?
Possibly they die. Most likely they'll end up on the slammer. Without the family's brains and strength, they're nothing more than common street thugs.
And you consider that fulfillment of your promise to Julian?
Julian knew we couldn't get everybody out of the rackets. He knew we couldn't get everybody into legitimate business. But we could take the family as a whole out of crime. He was aware there'd be some who prefer to stay on the other side of the street.
And some of those may oppose you somewhat strongly.
Yes, I expect they will.
This does not worry you?
The only thing that worries me, quite frankly, is that my wife will discover that I'm associated with you.
And if she does, will you desert your obligation to Julian's memory?
Neither of us would even consider that.
I'm talking to Duke. I put the question to you, Duke, because it could happen.
It won't happen. And I can't think beyond that.
You will remember, won't you, that such a thing would make us, once again, enemies.
Fear is not the reason I am here, you know.
For you, that was not a threat. It would insult a man like you. You're not like the rest of them. It was that way with Julian, too. But you must forgive an old man who spent his life in a world where fear was the only way to control people. I know that is not your way. But this is not a code, I know. Just as this business between us is not easy for me. You and Julian are part of a world that is not my world. You must forgive me if I need assurance that Julian's wish will become his monument. If I need to know that you will do this thing.
I have to. I promised Julian I would.
Julian was convinced it could be done.
Yes. Yeah. I know he was.
Duke can do it, Father. I'm convinced of it. Duke and I can do this.
Are there any messages from me?
Well, nothing since I arrived, but there was a message from Sean on the machine. He said he had to talk to Robert as soon as possible.
Really? He didn't leave a message for me? Maybe I should call him.
No, he said he couldn't be reached. He said he'd call back.
Well, I don't know where Robert is. Hello, Anna Devane here.
You know, it'd be a lot easier to keep up with you if you'd stay in one place for a while.
Well, where are you?
I'm trying to meet up with you. It would appear that I'm about one jump behind. I'm in New York.
Robert's in New York City.
Tell him that Sean called.
Sean called, and he wants to speak to you. Do you have any idea why?
Is he in the office?
No, he's not here, but he said he'd get back to you. I guess it's a little difficult to find payphones on the dock.
Listen, considering that I've flown all the way here to New York to fill you in on details of the Woods case...
You might do me the courtesy of restraining your interrogation. Of course...
I suppose we could keep this little conversation till I get back to Port Charles.
I'm going to strangle you one day, Robert.
Ah, you still love me, don't you?
Oh, come on.
Have you heard from the wife, Fran Woods?
Not since the last time. Do you have something new?
Maybe, maybe not. If you do hear from her, you won't forget to get her husband's shoe size, will you?
I haven't.
And what brand of shoes would you prefer? It would be also helpful.
I didn't forget about that, Robert.
All right, don't be
You're so touchy.
As soon as I hear from her, I will let you know. Now leave me alone.
I can't do that, darling. Not when we may have found a shoe from our favourite stiff in the river.
If there was a stiff in the river...
Well, whatever. It will be interesting to see if Mrs. Woods finds the shoe familiar, wouldn't it?
If she calls, I'll ask.
listen,
As long as I'm here, You wouldn't happen to know if your hubby was in town, would you?
Maybe.
So he didn't fly back with you.
He's coming in tonight. Why don't you just leave this alone, Robert?
What are you talking about?
Trying to associate him with the mob or with the case we're working on, or anything else for that matter.
Look, I'm
Expecting to be guest of honor at his canonization.
Bye, Robert.
Sean's on the other line. He wants to talk to Robert.
Oh. Tell him he's in New York. He's in New York.
He heard. He wants to know where.
I don't know where he is.
She says that she doesn't...
Heard what she said, Felicia. Listen to me very carefully. Now, if Robert calls back again, you tell him it's very important. Cheryl's in the hospital. She's asking for him. It's very serious.
I will.
All I can say, Duke, is so far, so good. Maybe you will make Julian's dream come true.
Even Julian couldn't work at it harder than Duke and me.
There is no Duke in you. There is only Duke.
Haven't I proven to you how useful I can be?
I've told you I will only allow you to be involved in legit operations of my choosing.
What do I have to do to earn your confidence?
You could start by not behaving like a spoiled child,
Spoiled child.
wanting what I do not wish to give you.
I think I'm the one who's trying to give here, Father.
Get off it, Olivia.
What you would readily ask of a son.
It would have been far better had I never asked nor accepted it from them.
Duke said it, Father. These are not the old days. You cannot keep me on a pedestal where wives and daughters used to be kept.
Because the times change, Olivia, does not mean that I will.
I'm only trying to help you.
You would help me by going back to your gallery.
A gallery that I started and made very successful with no help from you. Now, what does that tell you?
It proves that I have a very extraordinary daughter
You admit it.
with a brilliant future outside of the organization.
I only want to take my place next to my father's side.
Wonderful. Maybe you should take your place in front of me the next time they try to put a hit on me.
I'm only asking your permission to help Duke.
Enough. You have proved all you're going to prove. It is not for you to earn my confidence. You will do no more. This is not your action.
I think it is.
I will hear no more about this.
Duke needs my help.
And I need to lose no more children. Sweetheart. You're all I got. You stay out of Duke's way. Let him run the business.
Well, you certainly were a lot of help.
Did it possibly occur to you that he's right?
I happen to know more about the family than you do.
I can learn.
Faster with my help.
Anybody home? Robert Scott, is that? Hit the back way, hurry up. Anybody?
Oh? Bust up the party, did I? You should be more careful. The doors around here. Front was open, too.
Oh, I'll get right on to it. One never knows what kind of riffraff might just blow in.
True enough. Especially when you consider the riffraff used to have quite a time here. Under the past management, of course.
You know, I'd love to spend the whole day discussing the old days with you, but I don't have the time, and you know more about it than I do.
Actually, I'm here to discuss an environmental problem.
That's not exactly your line, is it?
Someone's been dumping garbage in the Port Charles River. New Jersey garbage. It would appear that the Carter family may have been depleted by a member or two. Know something about that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about the bodies someone dumped in the river.
That's funny, and I didn't read anything about that in the newspapers.
We've recovered a wristwatch, a personal article or two. Stuff that seems to suggest the Jersey gang. They've been feuding with the Jeromes for some time, you know. Much the same way that you did.
That was in the past.
As I recall, your sister Camellia had cause to snuff out a Jerome a few years back.
That's enough. You said
Then,
more
of
than
course,
enough.
there was your dear departed daddy, Angus. Jerome's were the cause of his death, too.
That's all history. Now I run 2 nightclubs, nothing more.
Yes. But it is curious, I mean, don't you think? I mean, you open a club at a building, once a favorite hangout of the Jeromes. At about the same time, Port Charles River coughs up some flotsam belonging to the Carters. I mean, it's all a striking coincidence.
Well, let me ask you one thing.
Shoot. Oh, metaphorically speaking, of course.
Since when does a wristwatch and other personal belongings floating about the river, since when does that constitute a crime of such magnitude that the chief of police, or the commissioner of police, no less himself, has to get involved?
3 reasons. 1, there's a probable homicide there. 2, it could be an effort by the mob to penetrate Port Charles.
And 3rd, it involves me.
Don't flatter yourself. The 3rd is the possibility that you're a player in this whole sordid mess. And that's going to involve Anna. Ergo, my daughter.
You're not about to go off my back, are you?
I don't like you, Lavery. And I don't trust you. What I think...
I'll tell you what I think. There's nothing more to discuss.
That's where you're wrong, old son. Because if you're playing with the mob again, we'll have plenty to discuss.
No matter what they tell me, it isn't enough to convince me that something's happened to Frisco.
I thought you said Kinley had told you they'd lost sight of him 2 months ago.
Yeah, well, that's the point. It doesn't mean they necessarily know something actually has happened to Frisco.
Well, I hate to say it, but if you've been in the WSB long enough, you kind of get an instinct for these sort of things.
Why is it thought of as a woman's intuition with me and a professional instinct with a man?
I know. I'm sorry.
So is Mr. Kinley, but not sorry enough to tell me where Frisco was last seen.
There could be a good reason for that.
I know, and I've heard them all. I'm really tired of it. Right now, all they're thinking about is trying to replace Frisco with another WSB agent. I'm not going to let them bury my husband that easily.
What are you going to do?
Whatever I have to do.
Just don't be foolish about it, Felicia. Anna Devane here.
Hi, Anna, it's Tiffany.
Oh, Sean told us that Cheryl's ill.
Well, she's a little bit more than ill, I'm afraid. She may go into kidney failure.
You didn't tell us it was that serious.
Well, if her kidney fails, she could die.
But they can keep her going on dialysis, can't
I know
they?
that, but she has refused to have it.
She's refused?
Yeah, she won't even discuss it.
My goodness. Do you want me to come down there?
No, that's very sweet of you. Sean's here with me.
Well, is there anything else I can do?
Well, yeah, that's why I called. You know, Cheryl is very upset, and she keeps asking for Robert.
Oh, Robert's in New York.
Well, I know, that's what Sean says, but I was thinking maybe there's some way that you could reach him anyway at all.
I've got an idea. Look, Tiffany, I'll do my best.
Thanks.
Now, I don't want you to think I haven't enjoyed our little conversation, because I most certainly have, but as we used to say when we were kids, why don't you jump in the river?
Well, fancy that. Hardly a practical way to solve your problems, eh? Kind of attracts the attention of the police.
Yes.
Oh, I thought I'd missed you.
Yeah, you almost did.
Is Robert there?
No, he just left, and not a moment too soon, I might add.
Do you think you could run and catch him?
I suppose so.
Just do it.
Well, I don't see what's so bloody important.
Do it, and I'll explain to you later.
Okay. Robert? You still here?
I said I was leaving, all right?
Anna's on the phone. She says it's important.
Yes, Anna.
Oh, thank goodness. Listen, Tiffany and Sean have been on the phone all day. They've been trying to reach you. Cheryl's in hospital.
So what's she doing in the hospital?
It's some kind of kidney failure.
How serious?
Well, Tiffany sounded very worried. Cheryl's been asking for you.
I'll be on the next shuttle.
What's the matter?
Cheryl, Anna will explain.
What is it?
Cheryl's in hospital.
Well, I want that much, huh?
I don't know. It's something to do with her kidneys. I don't have any details, really.
Is it serious?
Are you going to come home?
Well, I'd have been on the plane already if Robert hadn't dropped by with these insinuations.
Yeah, I know. I had a talk with him on the subject myself today.
Oh, you mean he's discussing me with you also?
No, we're working on the same case. We're sharing information.
Well, I'm glad you're not sharing the same suspect.
Robert's just being Robert, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he won't rest until he's got me involved.
No, look, I don't mean to defend him, but Robert wouldn't go to that extreme. It's just that there are some curious parallels.
You know, you're beginning to sound like him, too.
I'm just trying to help a woman find her missing husband. And talking of missing husbands, when are you coming home? You'll have just enough time to catch the next shuttle, I should think.
Yeah, and traffic could be bad just now, too, yeah.
Well, hurry home. I love you.
I love you, too. I'll see you in an hour.